And we kick off Mental Health Awareness Month today with a 6-county nonprofit coalition in Northeast Florida doing their part and finding challenges to get funding that is necessary for the fight. Talkable Communities launched in 2021. Joining me now to talk about it is John Corprew. He is a counselor and trainer at Gateway Community Services, and Kim McGee. She is a trainer at Talkable Communities. Thank you both for being here on this important kickoff day.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
So tell us about exactly what this initiative is. It launched in 2021, but it's 2026 and not everyone knows about it.
Yeah, so Talkable Communities is a partnership program between 5 agencies right here in Northeast Florida, and we cover 6 Northeast Florida counties. Our goal is to reduce suicide and reduce mental health challenges in our community by training those around them on how to recognize those warning signs and how to jump into that conversation and get involved when necessary.
So this is it's called Hope Needs Help. It's a campaign designed to raise funds to keep Talkable Communities initiative going. So how does Talkable Communities specifically help prevent suicide?
So we offer different trainings. I just wanted to make one quick correction. I'm not yet a counselor. I am in school to work on being a counselor. I'm a certified recovery peer specialist.
You are going to counsel me today, so
I
in
am.
my mind you're a counselor.
Okay.
But you're a counselor in training.
Thank you. Yes, I am in school. I'm working on becoming a counselor, and you told me to turn down my phone. So what we do with Talkable Communities is we offer different trainings. We have adult mental health first aid, youth mental health first aid, as well as assist applied suicide intervention skills training, which provide people with tools and resources to be able to have that difficult conversation with someone who might be having thoughts of suicide or thoughts of harming themselves, as well as knowing early signs of someone having a mental health and even a substance use condition, so that we can provide them with the tools and resources, maybe even professional help to help them get through the situation.
We talk about it more, and so a lot of people say, well, we're talking about it, so it's easier to get mental health help these days. But that's not necessarily true, and we're seeing more people with mental health issues. I mean, we can argue that all of us have at some point had a mental health issue.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think consider it the same way as CPR, right? We might all know what CPR is. We might have seen, a TV show or something where it's been done. But taking that training is a lot different. And so knowing and being aware about it and knowing what to do in the moment are 2 very different things. And so we do normalize it, much like a CPR course. We teach you simple steps on how to handle that conversation. It's going to be scary, but it's going to be simple steps that you can follow.
And so obviously there is an obvious need for this in our community, and in all communities, one could argue. You would think that it's a no-brainer to provide funding or for people to make donations. Why is it such a challenge right now to keep this program going?
We've been primarily grant funded. And if anyone is listening has been in the world of grant funding, you got to adapt sometimes. That comes and goes. It's just a way of the world. So we are adapting, and we're taking it to the community. Our program is called Talkable Communities. We want to allow our communities to play a part in our continued efforts. We've trained 12,000 nationwide. We've trained 2,200 locally in our Northeast Florida counties. We just want to give them another role and to better support this cause.
What is that training? You're going through it right now, John. What is that training like?
So one of the trainings that we provide is adult mental health first aid, that I am a adult mental health first aid facilitator. And one of the beautiful takeaways is I was able to provide it to my colleagues at work. And one of my colleagues approached me afterwards and said, because of this training, I was able to connect my aunt to the help that she needed. And we wouldn't have known what conversation to have with her had I not taken that mental health first aid course. So it provides that little umph that we might not know that we have inside of us, to be able to have that difficult conversation and say, hey, you don't have to feel this way. You don't have to live like this. And there's help out there for you. There are a world of professionals that are qualified and available to help you. And to know that It's not, if cost is in the way, we can help you navigate that. If logistics is in the way, we can help navigate that. Just to know there's a community of people available to help someone who's in need.
And are you guys seeing all age ranges seeking help?
Absolutely. As young as our elementary school kiddos, and as we've had grandparents as well. So it's all ages, all ranges. Unfortunately, mental health challenges do not discriminate at all. So it does hit everybody.
It's interesting that you mentioned grandparents as well, because I think a lot of folks think, well, you know, by that time you've got enough wisdom and you've got it all figured out. But there are specific challenges. I was hit with it, and you know, I'll probably give you too much information, but going through menopause, the stuff that goes in your brain and the stuff that's happening with your brain is something that I never experienced before. I never had postpartum depression, never had any of that stuff. But menopause just did something to my brain. It made me forgetful, and that made me uneasy because I've never before been forgetful. And so I imagine that as you get older, there are other things that happen to your brain that cause you to have feelings of insecurity. And those could last, you know, memory loss and things like that. Those bring on other challenges other than just the memory loss. People don't go, oh, I'm forgetful. Oh, well, you know, it really affects you.
Yeah.
So are those the kind of things that you see with folks who are older and wiser in age?
Yeah, loss of people, loss of relationships, loss of freedom are things that are something that demographic is really struggling with. And those are stressors when we talk about warning signs and what to recognize in someone. Isolation, loss of freedom, you know, thinking about taking someone's car keys because they can no longer drive. Think about moving someone out of their own home that they've lived in for years. That's a huge stressor on them. And they don't want to be a burden to others, just like anyone who's struggling with mental health challenges. So that is why we teach to ask the question first, because you don't want to put it on them. They're already holding.
Ask what question?
So asking, are you okay? Or asking, are you thinking about suicide? It could be a whole plethora of options there. But just starting that conversation as a caregiver, as a friend, versus having the person struggling have to make that first move. You know, we don't ask someone who's drowning to say, help me first. We recognize those warning signs and we jump in.
That's